One morning in 1990, under the scorching sun of southern Montana, a paleontologist named Sue Hendrickson stumbled upon something that would change how we understand life on Earth. It wasn't just an ordinary fossil. It was the most complete Tyrannosaurus rex skeleton ever discovered. And it wasn't just a specimen. It was a window straight into a world from 68 million years ago. They gave it a simple name: Sue. This massive skeleton was unearthed in the wildlands near the Cheyenne River. No cities, no buildings, just wind, dust, and rock. But beneath that dry soil lay the remains of an entirely different era. A world where colossal beasts roamed the land, where every step could shake the ground. Sue was living proof of that age. An adult T-Rex, nearly 13 meters long, weighing over 9 tons, and possessing the most powerful bite force in dinosaur history. But what fascinated scientists wasn't just its size or completeness. What truly captivated them was where it was found. Today, Montana is dry and barren, but during the time of T-Rex, it was a tropical, swampy, and lush landscape. Every layer of soil, every fossil fragment near the bones became a puzzle piece, each one helping to reconstruct the world where T-Rex lived, hunted, and died. So the question is, where exactly did T-Rex live? And what did the world it ruled actually look like? To answer that, we must revisit Earth's past. 68 million years ago, North America looked nothing like it does now. An inland sea, the Western Interior Seaway, split the continent in two: Appalachia in the east and Laramidia in the west. It was in Laramidia where T-Rex reigned. From southern Canada to what is now the southern United States, it dominated dense forests, swamps, and river valleys, places with water, vegetation, and an endless supply of prey. Fossil evidence shows that T-Rex wasn't limited to one area. Remains have been found in Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Texas, and even Mexico. This proves that it was one of the most widespread carnivorous dinosaurs in late Cretaceous North America. But not every region was the same. Some areas were mangrove forests. Others were muddy plains or high dry ground. So how did T-Rex adapt? The answer is, remarkably well. It could travel long distances to hunt. It lived near rivers or deeper in forests. It didn't need much water, but it needed prey. And wherever there were Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, or Ankylosaurus, you could bet T-Rex wasn't far behind. Not just because it hunted them, but because those ecosystems could support a top-tier predator. Back to Sue. The skeleton revealed even more. Many of its teeth were worn. Several bones had healed fractures. This meant it had survived many battles, possibly territory fights or failed hunts. There were even T-Rex bite marks on its leg bones, hinting at the possibility of intraspecies conflict. If true, it means its environment wasn't just harsh, it was brutal. That's why discovering a T-Rex skeleton isn't just a paleontological milestone. Each location, each soil layer, and every fossil nearby helps us redraw the survival map of the world's most iconic dinosaur. Fossilized pollen suggests Sue lived in a dense forest filled with ferns, aquatic plants, and giant insects. Which means T-Rex didn't roam barren lands, but a wet, chaotic, vibrant, and dangerous ecosystem. Picture a typical day. The sky is overcast, the air humid. T-Rex steps through a marsh. The scent of carrion drifts in the wind. In the distance, an Edmontosaurus bellows. A Triceratops grazes at the forest edge. T-Rex growls softly, moving in. There's no rush. One lunge and it's over. And if it misses, It waits, because this is its domain, and here it is the uncrowned king. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into the specific regions where T-Rex lived, from geology to climate, to the creatures that shared its time. T-Rex didn't live alone,
And only by understanding its environment can we truly understand why T-Rex became the king of the dinosaur world. If we could travel back in time to 68 million years ago, to the land once ruled by T-Rex, we wouldn't find deserts or barren plains like we see today. Instead, we'd enter a land full of life, lush forests, humid air, roaring rivers, and an ecosystem teeming with creatures. This was late Cretaceous North America, specifically the ancient landmass known as Laramidia, where T-Rex ruled as an uncrowned king. Laramidia wasn't a country or a state, but a narrow strip of land along the western side of North America, separated from the east by the Western Interior Seaway. This sea divided the continent into Appalachia in the east and Laramidia in the west. Because of this isolation, the animals of Laramidia evolved independently. T-Rex was one of its most dominant evolutionary outcomes. Fossils show that Laramidia stretched from present-day southern Canada to northern Mexico, and T-Rex lived all across this region, from river valleys in Montana and the humid forests of Wyoming to the swampy lowlands of New Mexico. That means T-Rex was highly adaptable. It could survive in multiple environments as long as there was water and prey. Imagine flying over Laramidia during the Cretaceous. Below is a thick forest, where ferns the size of humans grow beneath towering conifers. Massive rivers cut through the land, muddy banks spread wide. Herds of plant-eaters gather at clearings, Edmontosaurus with flat bills, Triceratops with its massive frill and horns. All are potential prey for T-Rex, or at least share its territory. The climate was much warmer than today. Temperatures ranged from 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, humidity was high, and rain was frequent. There were no snowy winters. Everything was lush, wet, and overflowing with life, which also meant survival was brutal. And in that chaos, T-Rex thrived, not just by strength, but by mastering the art of survival. T-Rex didn't live alone. Other predators roamed the land: Dromaeosaurus, Troodon, smaller raptors. But none dared challenge it directly. Its real threats came from massive herbivores like Triceratops or Ankylosaurus, huge, well-defended animals. One charge from Triceratops could impale. One tail swing from Ankylosaurus could break bones. This forced T-Rex to develop different hunting strategies: ambush, tracking, or using terrain to its advantage. Interestingly, fossils show that T-Rex lived in many environments: mudflats, riverbanks, even uplands. This suggests it was a wanderer, constantly moving to find food. In Laramidia, long journeys were common. A T-Rex might travel dozens of kilometers to follow a herd or scavenge a kill left behind. Even lakes and rivers played a role in its life. Not for swimming, but for ambushing. Like crocodiles stalking antelope today, T-Rex may have waited by the water's edge, hidden in the brush, lunging at prey when it came to drink. In the soft soils of these wetlands, its massive footprints were left behind, and today, those prints serve as powerful evidence of its presence. One of the most important ecosystems of the time was the Hell Creek Formation, covering parts of Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. This is where many of the largest and best-preserved T-Rex skeletons were found, like Stan and Scotty. Hell Creek was a floodplain full of vegetation, where volcanic ash and mud preserved dinosaur remains in remarkable condition.
It confirms that T-Rex lived not in arid deserts, but in rich, thriving habitats where life and death coexisted constantly. T-Rex may not have been completely solitary. Some trackways suggest 2 or more individuals moving together, raising the theory that young T-Rexes may have lived in loose groups, at least during certain life stages. If true, its social behavior may have been more complex than previously imagined. In short, North America during the reign of T-Rex wasn't just a blood-soaked battlefield, as movies often suggest. It was a land of forests, rivers, insects, early birds, herbivorous giants, and constant danger. T-Rex wasn't a lone monster. It was the apex predator of an intricate ecosystem, and it was this complex world that forged a hunter with instincts honed to near perfection. In the next part, we'll explore how T-Rex hunted and survived. Did it hunt in groups? Did it choose weak prey or go after giants? And was it truly a predator, or sometimes a scavenger? We'll uncover the truth in Part 3. When people think of T-Rex, they often imagine a massive predator with a bone-crushing bite, capable of tearing through anything in its path. But is that image entirely accurate? How did T-Rex really hunt? How did it behave in such a dangerous environment? And most importantly, was it always a predator or also a clever scavenger? Let's start with what made T-Rex so legendary: its bite force. Studies suggest T-Rex had a bite strength of over 60,000 newtons, the most powerful of any known land-dwelling dinosaur, far surpassing even today's crocodiles. Its teeth were thick, conical, and curved like daggers, designed not to slice like a raptor's, but to crush meat, bone, and cartilage in a single strike. It was an attack built to leave no chance of survival once it landed. However, such incredible power didn't mean T-Rex always hunted actively. On the contrary, evidence suggests T-Rex was an opportunistic predator. It didn't always chase down prey, but targeted the weak, the injured, the old, or those caught off guard. This doesn't make it less dangerous. It makes it smarter and more energy efficient. Much like lions in Africa or bears in North America, T-Rex was likely both a hunter and a scavenger. Fossils show bite marks on bones that were clearly from dead animals, likely from disease, accidents, or kills abandoned by others. In a harsh environment like Laramidia, every scrap of meat counted, and a successful predator wasn't one that always attacked, but one that used every opportunity available. In terms of strategy, T-Rex wasn't built for speed like a cheetah or gazelle. Weighing nearly 9 tons, it couldn't run very fast, but it wasn't slow either. Simulations show T-Rex could reach speeds of 25 to 30 km/h, fast enough to close in on large prey at close range. If a target couldn't outrun it, a single bite could end everything. Another key strength was its vision. Unlike the myth that it could only see movement, T-Rex had forward-facing eyes, allowing binocular vision, the ability to judge distance and depth, just like birds of prey today. This gave it a major advantage in timing attacks and reading its surroundings. Its sense of smell was also extraordinary. The part of its brain linked to scent was especially large, meaning it could detect blood or carrion from far away. So even without visual contact, T-Rex could track prey through smell. This made it a stealthy predator and an expert scavenger, especially in dense, humid forests with limited visibility. One of the biggest debates in paleontology is whether T-Rex hunted in groups. Some fossilized trackways show 2 or more individuals moving together, possibly a mother and young or juveniles cooperating. But there's no conclusive proof of coordinated pack hunting. If it did happen, T-Rex would rank among the most terrifying group predators in history. A more likely theory is that T-Rex was solitary as an adult, but juveniles may have formed loose groups for safety. In early stages, Before growing strong enough to fight alone, temporary cooperation could increase survival. As they matured, they likely separated to hunt and defend territory independently. Energy needs also shaped its behavior. With such a massive body, T-Rex needed lots of food, estimated at 40 to 60 kilograms of meat per day, depending on activity. This meant it couldn't afford to waste chances. Whether through hunting or scavenging, it had to feed often, reinforcing the idea that it was both a killer and a survivor. Terrain played a role too. T-Rex could use dense vegetation to hide its approach, or climb slight elevations to scout prey below. In watery environments, it might have lurked near riverbanks, much like crocodiles, launching an ambush when prey came near. These tactics weren't just about brute strength, they reflected learned behavior and sharp survival instincts. So to sum up, T-Rex wasn't a mindless killing machine as often portrayed in movies. It was a strategist, one that picked its moments, assessed risk, and exploited every advantage. It didn't hunt to impress, it hunted to live, and that made it one of the most efficient and intelligent apex predators in Earth's history. In the next part, we'll explore how T-Rex grew from a vulnerable hatchling into a near 9-ton predator. How did it survive those early years? Where did it learn to fight? And what stopped it from becoming extinct before it reached maturity? All that and more in Part 4. From the humid lands of ancient North America, from dense forests and muddy swamps, to the footprints left in soft earth 68 million years ago, T-Rex didn't just leave behind fossils. It left behind a lasting impression on human imagination. But among the hundreds of dinosaur species that once lived, what made this one become the eternal symbol of an entire era? First, it's the perfection of its natural design. T-Rex was a near-ideal combination of strength, speed, sensory power, and instinct. With the most powerful bite force recorded in any land animal, forward-facing vision, an acute sense of smell, and a muscular body, it didn't need wings or long claws to become a killer. Every part of its body served one purpose: survival and domination. But it wasn't just brute force. T-Rex was a model of efficient evolution. Over millions of years, it adapted to changing environments, seized every opportunity, and survived through climate shifts, fierce competition, and natural disasters. It didn't need artificial intelligence or advanced tools. Its instincts were its ultimate weapon. We've seen where it lived, from forests and rivers to expansive swamps. We've analyzed how it hunted, both as a direct predator and as an opportunist, knowing when to strike and when to wait. We've followed its path to adulthood, from a tiny, vulnerable hatchling to a towering apex predator. All of this makes T-Rex more than just a dinosaur. It's a symbol of resilience, of raw survival instinct. That's why, despite going extinct over 60 million years ago, its image still lives on in pop culture, through movies, books, games, and the imaginations of children around the world. One question continues to intrigue scientists and fans alike. If the asteroid hadn't struck Earth at the end of the Cretaceous, would T-Rex still be here? And if it had survived, what would it have become? The answer may be uncertain, but the theories are fascinating. Some scientists suggest that given time, T-Rex could have developed a larger brain, improved social coordination, or even evolved into creatures with more complex behaviors. Others believe it might have downsized and spread into smaller habitats, adapting much like some dinosaurs did when they evolved into modern birds. Either way, the extinction of T-Rex is part of its legend. It didn't die because it failed to survive. It was wiped out by an uncontrollable cosmic event. Without that extinction, we might not even be the dominant species today. Who knows? Maybe the descendants of T-Rex would have developed intelligence and built their own civilizations. And that's what elevates T-Rex beyond fossil records. It represents a force we all admire, the power to endure, to adapt, and to rise above everything. In a world of constant change, where the strongest don't always win, but the most adaptable do, T-Rex stands as a living metaphor for that truth. Now let's ask you, do you believe T-Rex was truly the most perfect predator in history? Or was it simply a creature that thrived in the right moment in time? If it had continued to evolve, what kind of being do you think it would have become? Smarter? Strategic? Or perhaps gentler, like the birds we see today? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another episode. We'll continue to explore the ancient world, from forgotten beasts to untold dinosaur battles. Because in that prehistoric universe, where there were no cameras and no witnesses, fossils are all that remain. And every time we tell their stories, they come alive once more.